Hello and welcome to our ZoidRush video. I'm Tmzoids as always, and this is part two, part two video of the trailers. This time we're talking about movie trailers, so let's get right into it. First things I want to talk about is time. When it comes to movie trailers, we have to go back a little bit before the internet. I know, scary place. Very scary actually. What? Time without the internet? No, but when movie trailers were first actually presented, of course, were on TV, duh, and that's where you mostly saw them. Sometimes they're 30 seconds to 45 seconds long, maybe a minute tops. Sometimes you'd see them after a show. I mean, how many times have we saw them after American Idol, the first sneak peek of the trailer for Avengers 27, and you're like, oh my God! And then you're like, I don't really want to see American Idol, but I'm watching this because, I want to see the trailer, right? Because it's right after, right? Anyway, so you get like 30 seconds to a minute, not too bad. Very cut, short, to the point. And nowadays, you are on the internet. You can see it on YouTube. It played over and over. Social medias, Twitter, Facebook, websites, dedicated just for that movie, which is kind of weird in my opinion sometimes, but that's besides the point. So all these different ways, and you can make trailers longer. Trailers have gotten significantly longer, now being from like 2 to 4 minutes a time. And I think that's the first thing we're going to talk about here. So movie trailers, positive things. We always want to start with some positives and then kind of go to the negatives and then kind of come to a conclusion, right? So positive things. Movie trailers are there to get you motivated, to get you hyped for a movie. They're like, oh my God, especially if you don't know what the movie's about or something, you're oblivious to the topic. At least the movie is trying to entice you enough to go look up into more about the movie, or at least get you interested enough to go watch the movie, right? That's the main goal, right? So that's the first thing. Trailers are not really there to tell you about the story most of the time. It's just trying to get you enticed. It can have a story in it, but it's not necessary. And nowadays, trailers are made by specific trailer people. Those are like your editors, which is we're going to go right into the first flaw. We're going to talk about time in a little bit, but this is where we're going to start. So trailers nowadays are not really made by its producers. It's not made by anybody really on the team. It's a separate team. It's part of the team, but it's a separate team that takes the movie, clips it up, and makes it look appealing for the rest of the audience to see. And sometimes this is bad. There's no script, from what I know or from what I've heard. There's no script. There's no way. There's no real direction of what needs to be cut, what can be shown, what not to be shown, and it just can be a disaster sometimes. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But the second thing, which I mentioned earlier, is time. 2 to 4 minutes is a long time, especially if you're going to have three trailers. So let's just say you have three trailers and you have them all 2 minutes, exactly 2 minutes, and then it cuts to the little, clip of, oh, Avengers, Superman, Batman, whatever the case may be, right? Um, so 2 minutes of time, that's 6 minutes of your film already shown. That's if the same clip is not incorporated into the other trailer. We're talking about completely different clips, three different trailers. Now, some trailers are even more than that. You could have up to like 4 or 5 trailers at sometimes. This is bad. We need to cut this back down. I think we should go back to the 30-second rule, minute tops. I mean, like I said, we're not here to see the movie. We don't need to see a bunch of fight scenes. We don't need to see like a huge interaction between two people. We just want enough to get your attention for it, and then it cuts to little, like I said, the little logo screen of the movie itself. It's like pfft, Skyrim, because that's on my screen right now. I'm just like, that sounds like a great movie. Um, but that was the first thing, time and people that editor things. Why can't we have a script? Why can't we have the producers or somebody that was actually involved in making the movie, whatever it may be, the script writers themselves or the movie makers, just go in there, talk to the people that make the trailers and go, hey, you can't include this. These are the clips that I would like to see, kind of work that in, and there you go, right? But no, that's not how it works at all. So why am I talking about movie trailers in the first place? Well, it starts back to when I was on Facebook. I saw the last of the Civil War trailer. The last of the Civil War trailer for Captain America. And let me tell you, I'm hyped for the movie. I'm not saying I'm not hyped. I'm not saying that I won't go see the movie or I'm revolting the movie. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. I'm just saying that people kind of miss the point. So I made a Facebook post and I was like, man, this is a really good trailer, but spoilers like Spider-Man right at the end, right? And it really wasn't that bad of trailers before this. They're not too long. They're about 2 minutes in length, a little bit shorter maybe, a little bit longer maybe. And but the last trailer really left out uh, a lot of element of surprise, right? So I made this post, and a bunch of people were like, "What do you mean it's not spoilers? What are you talking about? This is not spoilers." And even people at my school were like, "I don't know what you're talking about, man. Not really a spoiler. We knew he was in the movie, right?" So background of this. So if you read the comics, what I don't read the comics, but in the comics, Spider-Man is in the movie, and he's supposed to be somewhere in this comic book. He just wasn't seen, so everybody knew this, and he was on Team Captain America, or Team Iron Man. I'm sorry, and then he goes to Team Captain America. Okay, okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. It's not a spoiler, right? Okay, fine. You win. No, you don't win. This is when we're going to talk about spoilers and just major plot scenes and everything in trailers these days. So now with 2 to 4 minutes of time, you have to fill in a lot of time. A lot of times you see a lot of action, fast clip cutting, experience. A lot of times, we could just use the Captain American trailers here. You see a lot of fighting between Iron Man and Captain America and all this jazz. We're just using most recent movies, by the way. It's just not these movies, by the way. These are every movie, or a majority of movie. I shouldn't say every movie, but a majority of the movie trailers these days and movies, how they portray themselves, right? So why do I find this important? Why is Spider-Man right at the end of the Civil War clip, he lands with his little shield and he's like, "Hey guys, sorry I'm late," or whatever he says, right? Why do I consider that a spoiler? Well, it's not really a spoiler, but give me something, an element that will surprise me in the movie. Now, yes, we know Spider-Man's in the movie. Yes, I know that. He's in the comics. He switches sides. I get that. I understand that. But, give me something to go see, which I don't know that's going to happen. I know exactly now if I'm a Spider-Man fan, and I'm sure there's just legit Spider-Man fans who are now just going to wait up to that moment, which now you know the whole scene's cut out. So you got Iron Man on his side with all his butt buddies, and then you got Captain America with all his butt buddies. They're not butt buddies. They're great superheroes, by the way. I'm just saying that in general. And they're about to fight, and Iron Man says those magic words. He's like, Lois, or whatever he says, right? And boom, Spider-Man goes flying, he steals Captain America's shield, and he lands on the car. That you know that exact moment now. There's no element of surprise. When you see that in the movie, you already saw that in the trailer. Which, yes, okay, it hypes you up because you don't know what happens after, and people are going to be like, well, you don't know what happens after, and like you said, he switches sides, and clearly there's more to the story. Of course, but that is something that we didn't see in any of the other Captain America trailers. Like, we didn't see Spider-Man, people were wondering where he was at, and finally he gets shown, and now he's the talk of the town. Why didn't you just leave that for the element of surprise so people go see the movie and they're like, wow, I didn't know. Oh, that's a great way to incorporate Spider-Man. Oh my God, that's something to talk about in the movie. No, you're talking about that before the movie even happened. Why? Why are you giving that away? And it's just not this movie. Not this movie at all. Let's talk about spoilers. There's major plot scenes. You can actually take the Captain America trailer again, which we'll just keep going on this one. Major plot scenes that I think are very important and get you and irk you in a weird emotion, right? So at one point in the scene, you got Bucky and his Captain America friend, and they're beating the crap out of freaking Iron Man. They're like, boom, boom, and you're like, holy shit, what is going on here? Like, Iron Man's going to die. Like, why? Don't die, man. You're the Avengers. Why are you fighting, right? And I just think that's an important scene. Like, it seems so sad and it seems so captivating. And yes, it wrenched my emotions when I watched it. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to see the exact moment when that happens. Of course, like I said, but I just feel like that's a major scene that you could have left out. Like, 1v2, and it just the emotion around it. You just took all that emotion around it from when I could see it and experienced in the movies, like the heart wrenching, all the experience that I could experience while watching the movie, while it keeps progressing. Now I kind of know that happens, and you're like, is that really a major point in the scene? Another one, it's um, to continue on here, not to get too much on the spoilers. So spoilers are big things, gives out major plot scenes in my opinion, and it's like I said, it's just not Captain America. I'm just using that as an example for the most recent trailers. You can even go to Superman and Batman. So I find this so funny. Everybody rates this movie so poorly. Like, this is one of the worst rated movies in a while because it just did so poorly. Like, I heard it was bad, it was mediocre, it was okay. Like, I didn't hear, like, nobody came out of the movie and was going, holy shit, I can't wait for another one, or holy cow, this is really starting up for the event, Justice League. I am so stoked. No, nothing to that extent, right? And you wonder why is because of the trailers. We're going to go back to time for a little bit here. Why is this important? So first off, you saw all the important details that you needed to see. You don't have to go see the movie. They gave you everything you needed to see. And you know what's worse about this? Somebody took all the clips, all the trailers of the movie that was released from the people themselves that made it the Batman movie, and it came up to 11 minutes. You have 11 minutes of 11 minutes of your movie, all in trailers and all in order. You can Google this, you can YouTube this. I'm not even kidding you. You don't have to go see the movie because I saw them all in order. There's nothing left. You see Superman land in that little bunker, and the dust flies, and ooh, it's cool. But he on fucking Vale's Batman, and then you see the Batman fighting his little criminals on his side, and then you see Superman fighting his side, right? This is all in the trailers, right? And then you see Batman make a suit. Like, hello, okay, okay, he makes a suit and he catches Iron Man, like Superman's fist. Like, you're giving away so much of the movie. Like, I didn't have to go see it. And then at the end, the big laser comes and is about to kill Batman, and whoosh, Superwoman, like Wonder Woman. What do you what? So many surprise, like so many spoilers in my opinion. Especially when Wonder Woman, like nobody knew Wonder Woman was going to be in this movie. It's Batman versus Superman, and now she's on the poster. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're ruining a good chunk of your movie because you gave it all away in the trailer. You gave it all away in the trailer. And so going forward here, talking about time and just everything in its essence there. Sorry about that. So talking about time, we got time. They're too long. You need to shorten them down. Secondly, give some direction to the people that actually edit and create your trailers. And do you really need to release 4 trailers, 5 trailers? Give us an element of surprise. Major movie spoilers, major movie plots. I think are done. And last but not least, I want to talk about one last thing. So movie trailers don't do this on purpose. I don't think they do this on purpose for most of the time, but they lead you to the wrong idea or leave you with the wrong concept. And once again, I'm going to use the Captain American movie because I think this is the best example I can give right now. And I'm not saying that's the wrong idea or they're doing this at all because I haven't seen the movie. The movie hasn't come out yet. But movies have done this in the past and give you this wrong perception, give people that wrong idea that the movie's going to be one way and it's completely different, right? It just turns out like not how you expected it. Now, what am I talking about? So in the trailer, you have Iron Man and his friend flying up in the air. They're up in the air flying, and all of a sudden he gets shot down. His friend gets shot down, and then he falls, and Iron Man's like, "Oh no, I knew I couldn't trust you, right?" And it's insinuated that Bucky's the one that shot him down. Bucky is the one that he could not trust because Bucky was the evil guy that shot him down, hurt Iron Man's friend. That's insinuated. Now, if you go watch the trailer, you know what I'm talking about, right? When they're flying up in the air, and then he's like, "I knew I couldn't trust you," or I knew you were trouble." Wherever fucking Tony Stark says. I like how I refer to him as Tony Stark and not Robert Downey Jr. But anyway, so whatever he says, it's insinuated that that happens, and movies do this often. And like I said, I don't think it's intentional, but it's something that has to be really have to be served with caution. And there's plenty of movies. I think car movies find this most to be most examples. Is that when you look at other movies like Need for Speed or Gone in 60 Seconds, when you look at a trailer like that, and then you look at Fast and the Furious, you're like, oh, this is going to be like another Fast and Furious kind of a movie. Like fast cars, racing all the time, just zooming up and down the street, guns, this, that, robbers, all this jazz, right? And then you look at Needs for Speeds, and you're like, there's just one plot, and it was like this slow build up of a plot. And the things that you did see in the trailer, you're just like, Okay, that I could have waited. I could have waited till this came out on DVD because I saw the most action that this movie had. And like I said, there's nothing wrong. Like there's nothing wrong with that movie. I am not a huge movie critic when it comes to these things. I enjoy the movie for what it is. So if the movie is that boring, I'm gonna say it's boring. But I give it a benefit of the doubt most of the time. But those are some things that I found that to be really alarming. Like it's really scary that you think about this. Like the fact that you could make 11 minutes. What are you doing? 11 minutes of your movie is out there for free, and that's all through trailers. People just strung the trailers in order from chronological order and put them on a YouTube video, and you saw 11 minutes. Like, and it wasn't even like kind of hyped or saying clips. No, these were different clips, different interactions. You just saw everything you needed to see, especially in the Superman, Batman thing. And I'm not surprised that people went there and were like, "This is bad. This is a really shitty movie," or this needs to really improve if it has any competition to go against Marvel or any of the Captain America movies. So, once again, just to recap, there are some bad things. Like I said, time. Things are too long, but we can bring that back. Let's bring it back to TV. And because you're on the internet does not mean you get an extra time. Yeah, you get that extra time, but do you really want to use that time? You could still use a 30-second trailer. It gets you hyped up. It tells enough of the movie or shows you enough of the movie to get you intrigued. You can go look up into it more if you wanted to, and kind of get a basis idea of what it is. And not even 30 seconds. You could go 45 seconds to a minute, and a minute's pushing it, by the way, in my opinion, depending on what you show and how much you show. Last but not least, some direction, or not last but not least, but some direction of the trailer maker people. Like, I'm not blaming them, but they're just doing their job, editing, cutting up pieces, doing everything together. I just can you get some direction, some what not to use and what to show and what not to show, and that leads into the other things. Don't show major plots of the movie, which, like I said, people are going to argue. They're like, well, that's not a major plot. Iron Man and Captain America, that's the whole movie. Duh, that's not a major plot. I'm just going to be like, oh, come on. But Batman, Superman, you can see major plots. Like he unveils like Batman, he like takes it off, and he knows who Batman is. That's a major plot, in my opinion. And insinuation, like I said, it doesn't happen often, and I'm not saying that the Captain America movie was doing this, but movies have done this in the past, and you're just like, whoa, you're right. Like, if I go watch that movie, it has nothing to do with the trailer. Like, the trailer's like all hyped up, fast cars that are blowing up, explosions, and then you get in the movie, and you're just like, all right, there's a plot. They need to steal a car. Okay, explosives. All right. Anyways, that's it, guys. I'm going to let you go. I'm sorry for ranting. This is part two. If you want to check out part one, go check out my channel. It'll be there, and I'm sure it'll be up in the eye. Click the eye, and it'll be on there. And if you enjoy my content and like to see more, make sure you subscribe, gives it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Anyways, bye, guys.